Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Catch You on the Pip Side. Today we are going to talk about how to figure out the difference between your broker's price and the chart that you're looking at so that you know how to adjust your entry prices, stop losses, and take profits to make sure that you are being put in the trade at the right time and your stop losses and take profits are being hit at the right time. I feel like this is one of the most overlooked steps in teaching somebody how to trade. It's the most missed step that we see. So that's what I want to cover here today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask unmute yourself and ask a question or ask in the Zoom chat. And to make this the most effective, it is going to be best if we get a good amount of audience participation. So if we can, what I would love to do is to get everybody to look on their phone at your price of AUD CAD. Okay, so if everyone can look at your own broker and find your pricing on AUD CAD. And when you are on AUD CAD, I want you to drop your price on AUD CAD into the chat. So right now on TradingView, I am looking at FXCM as the broker. So if you're here, if you don't know how to see what broker you're looking at, where this blue arrow is pointing to, this tells you whose broker's feed you're looking at. So lots of people will say like, well, on TradingView, my price is this, but it's not TradingView that's dictating that price, it's the broker. Because if you go to your watch list and you search for AUD CAD in the list, I want you to look at how many different brokers pop up for AUD CAD. So you could look at AUD CAD from FXCM. You could look at AUD CAD from Awanda. You could look at AUD CAD for Forex from Forex.com. You could look at it from Capital.com. You could look at it from Global Prime. Okay, I think you get the point, but there is a huge list of brokers that you could, oh my gosh, you have got to be kidding me. Blackbull is feeding their price to TradingView now, and now they don't serve Canadians. Oh, that is, I wish I would have never seen that. I'm never scrolling that low again. That is a tragedy. Okay, anyways, moving on. So you get my point, right? You can search on TradingView for AUD CAD, and there is a lot of different brokers that you can choose from. And all of these different brokers are going to have a different price feed. So I'm going to add a whole bunch of them here so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, and we're going to look at the Zoom chat here. Okay, so when I asked you guys, there's like 88998, 89999, 89995, 0.89999. Okay, so you can see that there's some variance. It's not that much different. Okay, on Forex pairs, it's not that much different. But what you're going to see when we get to things like US 30 is that it can be very different. So if we look at all the brokers that are listed here, we can see that FXCM is about 5 pipettes more than Forex.com, and that Capital.com is quite a bit different. Capital.com is like 1.5 pips different than Forex.com, and IDC is about 3 pips different than Capital.com. Okay, so you guys see my point here? Every different broker on the same pair, that their price is slightly different. So what does that mean to you? What it means is that when you see somebody, not just me, any educator, if you're watching somebody and they're marking up a chart and they're giving you stop loss and take profit levels, it's very important that you pay attention to what broker's chart they're looking at. So in this case, I'm looking at FXCM. And then you need to look at your phone and you need to look at that pair. So you'd go find AUD CAD on your MT4 or MT5, whatever you're using, You would look at AUD CAD and you need to find your price. And you need to do the math between the difference of that broker's price, this broker's price on TradingView, and your broker's price. Because if I was to tell you to set a stop loss at here, turn this red. Okay, if I was to tell you to set your stop loss here at 0.89846 on this broker's chart, if your price was 3 pips different, let's just say your price was 3 pips higher than this, and you put this stop loss into your phone, like you just took this number that I gave you and you put it into your phone, but your phone's pricing was 3 pips higher, you're going to get taken out 3 pips sooner. So if price was to come down here, if price was to come down and it was to get 3 pips away from this stop loss, so 847, somewhere like here. Okay, so price comes down to right here and it doesn't look like it hits your stop loss, but you look at your phone and it hits yours. That's the reason it hit your stop loss, is because your price was 3 pips higher than this price. And so when you typed in this number and you didn't account for that difference, it ends up causing you to get your stop loss hit. So maybe you're on my call and everyone else is like, no, like you're like, oh, my stop loss got hit. And everyone else is like, mine didn't, mine didn't, mine didn't. And you're like, well, what the heck? Why did my stop loss get hit and other people's didn't? This could be the reason. And this could go the other way. If your price was lower than this number and you didn't account for it, then price could go down lower than your stop loss. And all of a sudden you're losing more money than you thought you should be able to, because your stop loss didn't get triggered here because your stop loss is way down here. Okay, I hope you're following along with this. This is not an easy subject. This is probably, to me, one of the most complex things about trading. And the only way to avoid it would be to trade with a broker that their chart is available on the service that you're using. So we'll just stick with using TradingView as an example. So if you want to use TradingView's chart and you pick a broker that has their charts available on TradingView, like Global Prime, for example, then you can actually use Global Prime's chart and you're trading with Global Prime. So then your pricing will actually be identical. But for somebody that's teaching, so me, for example, I can't show every single person on the call's chart, right? Everyone's using a different broker. So whoever you're watching, whatever educator you're watching, you need to make sure that you know the math between the broker that they're using and your broker so that you can fix it. So if you know that your broker's price is 3 points lower than mine, then when you enter your stop loss into your phone, you need to adjust this stop loss lower. So what would 3 pips lower than 0.89840 be? 0.89840 if you wanted your stop loss to be 3 pips lower. Now we're going to get some pip counting practice. And if you don't know how to do this, there's not really a nice way to say this, but if you don't know how to do this, you shouldn't be trading on a live account. I don't say that to be mean. I just say it to protect your account. Oh, great. I scared everybody away from answering. Nobody's going to answer now. Okay, remember when I showed you my YouTube channel the other a little bit ago, and I had a video in there about how to count how to count pips, I'm feeling like it would probably be really good for if you don't know the answer to this question, it would be really good for you to go back and watch that video. And yes, sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Orist, I think, Orist. That's the first right answer that I've seen so far, the only right answer that I've seen so far.
That can make my day.
Okay, so let me pull up a text box here so that we can do this. So if our price is, oops, I'm typing in the wrong spot here. If our price is 0.89840, okay, when you look at this, the 0 is the pipette, the 4 is the pip, the 8, the 9, and the 8 don't matter for our purposes here. So if we were going to subtract 3 pips from this, we would go 0.89840 minus 0.00030, because that's 3 pips, right? The pip column is the 4th number after the decimal, unless we are looking at a JPY pair, okay? That JPYs, they like to mess up everything, but on every other pair, it would be, that's how you would write 3 pips. So if you were to subtract these, I want you guys to do it in your calculator. If you were to go 0.89840 minus 0.00030, your answer should be 0.89810, because 4 take away 3 is 1. So it's only affecting one column of this, right? It's not even rolling over to the second column. Does everyone follow this or no?
Yes, but it's also different when we scalp US 30 again.
Yes, but US 30 is even easier because US 30, you're just counting regular numbers, right? It's just 38,500 and then 38,501, 38,502, right? It's just counting just like regular counting. So lots of people think US 30 is harder, which is kind of funny because it's like you learn Forex first and you're talking about like 4 digits, 5 digits behind the decimal, and it's kind of more complicated. And then US 30, we go back to counting numbers like regular numbers and everyone gets all confused. So it's kind of interesting.
Thank you for making a clear distinction between them.
Yeah, I mean, I remember being confused too. Like when I started trading US 30, I was like, what the heck? Like, I don't understand. Like, what are these numbers? Like, am I still using, there's no numbers behind the decimal, or there's only 2. How do I count pips? Like, I remember being confused too. But yeah, so in this example here, so what I was saying is that if I told you that the stop loss on my chart was going to be at this value, and the difference between your broker's price and the broker's price on my chart is 3 pips, you need to adjust for that 3 pips, and you need to lower your stop loss by 3 pips so that it gets hit at the right time on your broker. Or if that's too complicated for you, the other option is to find the candle that I used to set our stop loss, which would have been this candle here, right? The low of this candle. So you would want to look on your broker's chart on your phone, and you would want to find the 19 o'clock candle, and you'd want to look at the low of this candle on your chart, and then you would want to calculate your spread times 2 below that low. And if you use your own broker's chart and your own broker's pricing of this candle, and then your spread, then you'll end up putting your stop loss in the correct place. Okay, so there's 2 different ways to do it, either comparing the price on your broker to the price on this broker, or finding the candle on your own chart and looking at the low on your own chart and doing spread times 2 below that and setting that number as your stop loss, or entry price, or take profit. Okay, this works the same for all of the different numbers that you set into your phone. And now,
You know what I do actually, Teresa, when before I press enter, or like before I press, to initiate the buy or sell, I basically have a look at what is on my phone, right? Like what is the price, and I just either add or subtract 50 points, and then I press enter.
yes, that works.
Instead of, because that's the quickest way to do it, because if you start thinking about it, then the candle might be long gone, right? So I quickly, when I open it up and I see what the price is, I just either add or subtract 50 points, right? And then I press enter. So you may be few off up and down, but at the end of the day, it's not that much. So yeah, that's what I found really quick and easy.
Yeah, that's perfect. Like that works really well for US 30. It's probably going to be less. The US 30 is actually very easy to count, right? Because if you're at 30,500 and you're going to enter a buy and you want to put in a 50-point stop loss, then you're just going to put it 50 points lower than that, just 50 lower. It's very simple math. But for people that are trading Forex and you've got all these decimals and you're trying to calculate 50 pips, all of a sudden it becomes a little bit more complex math than US 30 would be. Now, for lots of people that trade with me, we only trade US 30. And so then it becomes less of a big deal. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is US 30. I wish I could figure out how to erase these lovely drawings that somebody did for us, but I can't seem to figure out how to. Viewers drawings. Okay, there we go. Okay. So US 30, I want you guys to look at these numbers here and look at the difference between them. US 30 on this broker, which is who, it's not telling me who. Normally when I hover it does. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is currency.com. So 33,766. And then look at the next broker, Global Prime, 33,840. Right, that's a difference of like 80 points. So if I was to tell you to enter a stop loss, like if I was marking up on currency.com and I marked up a stop loss for you at say 33,700 and you were trading on Global Prime, your price is different by 80 points. So if you put in 33,700, your stop loss is going to get hit. Hold on, let me think this through. If I told you 33,700 and your broker's price is 80 points higher than mine, your stop loss is going to be way up here on your broker and it's going to get hit way before mine. Or it might not even be possible to enter, honestly. There's such a spread. If we're only looking for like a 10 or 20 point scalp, your stop loss might not even be valid because there's such a difference between them. Okay, and then the next broker on this list here is very similar to currency.com's price. It's pretty much identical. Okay, so capital.com is pretty much identical. Black Bull, 33,757, 759. It's also very close. The next one here, 33,740. That's about 20 points lower than currency.com and capital.com. Then there's Pepperstone, which is pretty close to the majority of the other ones. So Global Prime was off by the most, and then 8cap is also off by a good 20 points compared to the other one. So anyways, I think you get my point, okay? Every broker's price feed is different. Early. Sorry?
Oops. Oh, I accidentally unmuted myself. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
I'm actually going to hop off. Thank you for your time. 5 a.m. comes early, so I'm going to hit the haystack. Thanks, everybody. Good night, Teresa.
Yeah, have a good night, Carmen. Okay, so I think you guys get, I hope you get my point here that of the fact that everyone's broker is not the same price. If you get that, put a 1 in the chat. And if you don't get it, put a question mark so that we can see kind of how people are following along here with that. Okay, everybody's broker is a different price. And so because everyone's broker is a different price, you can't just look at somebody's chart and enter a trade using the exact numbers that they're giving you. You need to adjust between your broker's price and that broker's price and the difference between the price, and you need to adjust all your numbers up or down based on that. So yeah, so it's getting pretty late. We've been on here for almost 2 hours here and I am getting tired. And we have to get up in the morning to trade again. So I hope you guys got some value out of tonight. I know we kind of only covered a couple of topics, but they're both, you know, pretty important. And this last topic is really important. So I really want you guys to work on this, like on your own, really try to like look at your broker's price, look at different brokers' prices, do the math between the two, and really try to get a good handle on this. Because there's honestly, there's no way to really be a successful trader without knowing how to do this, unless you trade on the same broker and you're looking at your own broker's chart and you're not following somebody else that's using a different chart. All right, awesome. Okay, perfect. Well, that's going to be a wrap for tonight. Thank you for coming and for checking out this video, and we will catch you on the pip side.